Brothers, I explained in brief about the history of this Arab-Israeli problem. There was no country called Israel before 1948. Entire Middle East was part of Turkish Ottoman Empire. In 1897, uh, Zionist Jews, we must make a difference between Zionist Jews and the normal Jews, the religious Jews. Zionist Jews are political Jews. They met in the city of Bale in Switzerland in 1897 and decided to set up a state in Palestine, which they have not even seen. And after the First World War, uh, Ottoman Empire was defeated, and the entire Middle East was brought under the control of France and Britain. Palestine was brought under Britain, and when it was brought under Britain, Britain and Israel, that is Zionist Jews, got together. They already decided. In 1829, they decided to set up the state of Palestine, which then nobody knew. This British authority in Palestine allowed the Jews to be brought from Soviet Union, Russia at that time, to settle down in Palestine, what is called Palestine now. In 1904, there was a population census. In that, only 4% of the population, of total population of Palestine was Jews. 4%. 96% Christians and Muslims, predominantly Muslims. So once the Palestine was brought under the control of British mandatory power, British mandatory power got together with Zionist Israel Jews and started bringing Russian Jews and settling down. And when they came to Palestine, there was no space to occupy, although the land belongs to Palestinians, the home residential areas belong to Pakistan. Then they had to get rid of the Palestinians to take over their land. And 1948, April 11, they committed the first ever massacre in a place called Deir Yassin. 253 people were killed, men, women, children. But before that, I want to tell you the British mandatory power allowed Zionist Jews to set up terrorist groups. Haganah, led by a person called Menahem Begin, Yitzhak Shamir, and then Ariel Sharon, all these people, they set up terrorist state. And the first ever massacre that took place in Palestine first ever terrorism took place was in Deir Yassin. 253 Palestinians are killed, and the remaining people are put into a lorry, taken to Jerusalem, paraded naked, men, women, and children, and they were shot dead after that. And after the second massacre took place, Kafar Kasi. So when they started killing people, and moreover they went to mosque. When the mosque they were praying, they closed on the mosque and set fire to the mosque. So the all Palestinian people were burnt inside the mosque and also inside wedding halls, public halls. They killed like this. When they found it's impossible to live, people started moving out of the houses. Now the house, different places here. This continued. So in the meantime, British authority, I tell you, trained these terrorist groups here. Haganah. Then when they started going in a full-scale killing of Palestinians, they want to grab as much land as possible before the resolution is taken up in the United Nations to partition the Palestine into Israel and Jews. Israel was created for Jews who were brought in from Russia, Europe, and everywhere. And the Palestinians, frightened and they want to get out, they go to different sides. Some of them they ended up in Gaza, which is being killed now. So in 1948 May, United Nations took up the resolution under pressure from America. There was a president called President Harry Truman. Like Joe Biden, he was a Zionist agent, full-fledged Zionist agent. Actually, he was doing what Zionists were telling here, like what Joe Biden is doing, what the Israelis are telling. So see, when the resolution was taken up in the Parliament in 1948 May, 6 countries said this is immoral, illegal. Uprooting the sons and daughters of a place and hand it over to a people who came from abroad is illegal. And also we must remember the American administration, top officials, fiercely opposed this. They didn't get. But Harry Truman, like Joe Biden now, was fully in support of Zionist lobby at that time. So they blackmailed the 6 countries. I can give the names of 6 countries. Blackmailed, bribed them, and forced them to vote in the United Nations for the partitioning of Palestine into Israel and Palestine. So Israel created after partitioning by resolution which partitioned Palestine. And when they partitioned, West Jerusalem was not part of the area given to Israel. Then Ben Gurion was declared the state of Israel. Within 10 minutes, recognition came from United States. 13 minutes recognition came from Soviet Union. So that means they were poles apart politically, but when it comes to planting the state of Israel in the Middle East, they were all together. And British government already decided as a mandatory power that they should plant an alien force in Middle East, which will be loyal to them, the Europeans and hostile to people in the region, hostile to Muslims. Now what's happening here? So this continues, the massacre after massacre. Then 1967, with the backing of US and Europe, and they all planned together and they invaded 3 countries. Then they got Gaza and Sinai from Israel, Golan Heights from Syria, and Southern, West Bank. So all these places were captured by them. Once when they captured, what can they do? They were Arab spies, Arab rulers. So some of them are spies. They were giving tips to Israel, as they are doing now. Arab rulers were giving tips to Israel. Look at they are fighting this. So that's how they managed. They took over and East Jerusalem also they managed to capture. That's a historic defeat for the Muslim world and historic victory for the Zionists. I'm repeatedly telling Zionist Jews and not the traditional Jews here. So see they captured. Since then, the main idea of US, Europe, that is Britain, France, Germany, even Russia is to create a great Israel and rule the whole Middle East and rule the whole world. Maybe in about 50 years' time, New York may not be the financial center. London may not be the financial center. Jerusalem will be the center. That is the Jewish idea. But the European idea is great Israel that is captured. Now they are started colonizing. The Arab countries are very weak, so they can't do anything. So Egypt's also population was very high. So aircrafts were all destroyed, air forces were all destroyed. So Arabs are very weak, they couldn't do anything here. And entire West, like now, with Israel. So it's continued. And then with European money, German money, French money, they started being Israelis colonizing the West Bank and colonizing Gaza at that time and other captured areas here. This continues, this colonization even today it goes here. Now, for example, a Jew from Europe can come, they can come to Israel, they will take him to a place and they can point out a house owned by an Arab, traditionally maybe for 500 years here. But then they will say, well, this is our house, you get out. So, judiciary is supporting them. Israeli forces are supporting. What can they do? This is how they are demolishing Palestinian houses, kicking them out, and they are going and settling down. This 2.3 million Palestinians in Gaza are the very same people who were driven out by the Jews by committing massacres here. So 67 they captured the place. After the this continued, the colonization continued, and then 1982 the Israel invaded Lebanon, and the massacres they committed. There was a person called Christopher Dobson. He wrote a book called God Cried. Deyat Anduam Kela, single and Kina, Deyat Anduam when he saw the massacres of it. And in Tamil they Solapona, Andavana Maladan Solano. And the way they massacred, you see, they killed the young girls, took the bowel out. I have the book, if you want to see that, I can show that to you called God Cried by a person called Christopher Dobson. But what can they do? He was sacked by the British Journalists Association. I think that surely he must be knowing this better, I think, because he's touch with these things here. So you see, this happened here. This so, and then you see, Palestinians started fighting. Oh, they went and settled down finally in Gaza. Palestinians started fighting Israelis. So there was a prime minister called Ariel Sharon. 8 years this fellow was in machine, and many died. God's punishment. There were worms coming out of his eyes after 8 years. His full term, he was killing the Arabs here. He killed. He became prime minister. Menahem became prime minister. Menahem Begin, who massacred people not only in Deir Yassin, 250 people, not only became prime minister, he was given Nobel Prize also. So this is the Jewish control on US and Europe, and Christians supporting the area. So this 82 this happened. Since then, in the fight, the Palestinian struggle was so fierce, unable to withstand the fight, Israelis withdrew and handed over withdrew from Gaza. And since then, people were going there. There were two. There were Gaza actually later converted almost into a major prison. You can't go out. You can't come in. So everything which goes inside Gaza, the medicine. But the Gaza society is a normal society. You get educated people, lawyers, doctors, architects, nurses, hospital, polite people, cultured people. But violence they resorted as the only way to liberate themselves. And this continued, but for the past 20 years, what has happened in Gaza, no human being can tolerate it. No human being. And the atrocities is that's not this almost the same as the atrocities they committed in the early days of Israel. And Arabs are very weak. The tragedy is, Arab rulers are all planted by France, Britain, and Israel. Planted by US, and their loyalty is to their master. And the Gulf states, for example, they got the money, wealth. The wealth is there in America and Britain. So their heart is there. But they are all the rulers are very oppressive rulers, Gulf. So people, 330 million people, they are suffocated. They are suffering too much. Not only Palestinian, 330 million Arabs are suffering. Now, see, for the last 13 days today, bombing of Gaza. Not a single Arab leader who spoke, not a single Arab leader condemned, not a single Arab leader asked, don't bomb the innocent people. Now, in the Palestine Authority chairman, Mahmoud Abbas, has been there in Jordan. He came only yesterday after the hospital massacre. So, this is as if the Hamas was founded by Israel. People may not be founded by Israel because there was a time when Palestine Liberation Organization was becoming very strong and very powerful. At that time, they want to weaken the Palestine Liberation Organization of Arafat. To weaken that, they created this Islamic-based organization under the Sheikh Yassin. Israel created. Israel builds up, but they are not corrupt. They are dedicated, and for them to plan this 7th October strike is a great setback to the entire, not only Israel and its supports in the West. But where is Mossad? Where is CIA? Where is FBI? Where is MI5? Where is KGB? Oh, none didn't know about very this after the now this is the situation. So since then Israel started indiscriminately bombing. Now up to date about 3,000 Palestinians are killed, but nobody knows how many killed because when a 10-story, 15-story building is destroyed, who knows how many people inside? They were all dying inside. Some of them are alive still inside, and of the 3,000, 1,046 are children. So this bombing is going on. Middle East will never be the same, and Palestinians, we must remember, are the sons and daughters of what is called Israel now. And also we must keep on remember Jews in Britain and other places, in New they are getting together Palestinians, others, and opposing Israel. They said, we don't belong to Israel. We don't belong to what you say. So that is the situation now. Massacre is still continuing. Yesterday, the hospital massacre, 471 people killed. And today, indiscriminate bombing going on. And for the last 6-7 days, no water, no electricity, no food, no nothing. Even the hospitals, no way to operate. So this is the situation. Once again, I want to tell you, Israel was planted in the heart of Middle East in Palestine to destroy Middle East, which they have done. But whether the situation is going to be same in the years to come, we don't know. Thank you very much.